Hello, my name's Artemis, and there are a fair amount of communities and little subgenres of society that have a decent amount of overlap with each other.
And whether that means human pups and furries and weebs, or even anti-vaxxers and assholes, often you'll find that there's just as many similarities as there are differences.
And this week we are taking a little look at the various similarities and differences between us furries and what I like to refer to as our little cousins, the brony community. So, let's dig in. Okay, first off, I feel like it's only fair that we set up some sort of, definitions for the two parties involved in this discussion, but I can't really be bothered sitting here telling you the same old shit about the furry fandom. So why don't we just edit something together really quick and I'll throw a narration on it. Yeah, sound good? Doing it. Bang.
The furry community is a group of like-minded individuals who all appreciate anthropomorphic animals. They incorporate artwork into this interest, as well as big fluffy costumes called fursuits, and generally just enjoy a type of roleplay and characterization rarely seen in normal society.
There we go, that saved us about, half an hour of fruitless exposition and saying the same shit we've already said before. I mean, most of us know what a furry is, right? But hey, it's good to set the ground rules. Should probably do one for bronies as well. Let's see if we got one loaded up.
Bronies refers to a group of individuals who all enjoy the show My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, based around its wonderful little animation style, the characterization, as well as the themes that it generally represents. These people also like to incorporate artwork and in some cases costuming as well.
Okay, so already I imagine you're probably seeing some, distinctions, some similarities and differences already. They're pretty similar things in, their core themes and blah, blah, blah. But there are some key distinctions to note as well. For instance, furries are pretty much embracing of all species. They like to create their own OC and centre it around whatever it is they like species-wise, whereas obviously with the MLP fandom, they tend to be exclusively almost ponies. And it all takes place within that, sort of fictional universe of the My Little Pony world, I guess. Equestria, there we go. I remembered the bloody name. And I think it's fair to say that both are seeking acceptance for what they like and finding a little community that they can share these hobbies and interests and little themes with other people who also like those things.
Which is exactly why creating a community is so high up on the list of priorities for, both parties.
Now, these little communities are, like pretty much everybody in the world, being held up against the measuring stick of society. Just so happens that we're at the shitty end of that stick. And there are a various few reasons why I believe we are held in such regard.
These reasons can, of course, include the general assumption that we're being immature or childish, because apparently being grown up to some people means shunning all of the things that you actually do enjoy just to appease some anonymous stranger's judgments.
And with that air of childishness following us around like a bad smell, it's pretty hard for us to find acceptance, and that is another struggle that we tend to have, seeing as some people just don't want to open their mind to people liking things that are outside of their own worldview, as if, it's any of their fucking business what you actually like.
It's because of that shunning and that harsh judgments that we're often faced with that we both sort of prize this deep sense of community where like-minded individuals can come together and share those interests without the fears of ridicule. And I mean, often these communities that we build ourselves are quite a downside better than what we're used to.
But of course there are some differences here as well, as of course the nature of these assumptions can change depending on the community. For instance, if you Google the term furry, then you will find various images of cutesy fursuiters enjoying good times, conventions, all of that lovely stuff, and also that hot mess, but whatever, we'll bypass that. Generally it looks pretty good, right? It's pretty okay, but if you, Google the term brony, it comes up with what I can only describe as mockery of various stereotypes that have just been attached to that community, and it all just looks like one big joke.
Yes, furries might often get that age-old assumption that we're all just sex-crazed, depraved dog fuckers, but largely the fandom has been able to shake off this kind of assumption in recent years, and we have garnered a decent little turnaround in how people view us and see us and treat us. But seems like the bronies haven't really been able to get that level of luck. In fact, if the media is anything to go by, they're basically all just treated as if every single one of them is another clone of Chris Chan, and that's hardly the case. But then, when has the media ever really done anyone that much of a fair example of their community?
Oh god, yes, the media, which sensationalism typically turns into the shittest version of Whose Line Is It Anyway I've ever seen, where the headlines are made up and the facts don't matter. Oh god, yes, we've certainly had some run-ins with the media ourselves.
Anytime you get something that deviates from what is generally considered to be normal, you tend to make yourself a little bit of a target for mockery and ridicule, and when you're as out loud and proud about these hobbies and interests as, for instance, the furries are, it's pretty easy to see why the media, turns them into nothing more than a punchline.
We have this one thing we definitely have in common, is that we're weird, often unashamedly slow. I mean, just take a look at these clips and see if you can find any fucks to give coming from us.
Sniff, my wolf dragon senses were piqued. I knew something was amiss when I saw my furry fam doubled over in pain and exasperated canine size.
You see a husky whose tail don't curl?
Y'all motherfuckers need Jesus.
So we've been pulling people into a cuddle to warm this baby.
No, thank you. Thank you.
And giving her our jackets and blankets.
Whew, big damn oof, right? I mean, that's painful levels of cringe and, carefully edited and presented in a way to get you to feel such things, because that's exactly the message that they were wanting to get across. But, I don't know, furries seem to have slowly been able to shake off the shackles of, lewdness and all of this weird jokiness that everyone approaches them with, and instead certain little media companies and certain reports are starting to focus on the benefits of the community and the more realistic positive sides of it as well, which is, I don't know, pretty surprising but also fucking amazing.
I grew up alone. It was fine for me, but not everybody has that strength. So I thought the best way to kind of rectify that was to get as many people with things in common together as possible, as quickly as possible. And it worked.
Met at a fur meet maybe about 5 years ago. We've been engaged for just under 2 years now.
That's the thing that furry offers.
Can you do that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, success!
If you don't fit the mold you were born into, well, you'll fit ours.
Oh, bless. Look, it looks like they're actually trying to understand us and paint us in a better light. What a sweet thing to do. Just a shame that the same courtesy isn't extended towards the Bronies, who seem destined to suffer through this, targeted harassment for just a little bit longer at least.
Bronies, another disturbing trend.
Yes.
Bronies are brothers in ponies. These are grown men who stay home from work and have now started filing for disability like Baby Man because they love My Little Ponies so much, and they like going to chat rooms and discussing My Little Ponies, like, the subtexts and plots, that now they cannot work because they become obsessed with My Little Ponies.
I love cupcakes. I really, really, really love cupcakes.
Do you also love getting diabetes?
No, I don't know what that is.
Now, these kind of reports can have quite the effect on people as well. I mean, let's take, for instance, the little scenario that you might be a closeted furry. You're not quite sure if you want to join in with the community. You're not too educated about it. So you do a little bit of digging. You see some articles on the news and whatnot, and you start to see that, okay, it's a little bit weird, but hey, they've got a good sense of community. They raise money for charity, and generally, it's a nice social thing. And you think, oh my God, this is amazing. People do seem to like it. I'm not going to be shunned from communities and society just for liking this thing. I'll try and join in a little bit better. But let's say that, you really, really like My Little Pony and you want to join in and find other people that you like it with too. But you're a little bit ashamed of it because, hey, not everyone around here is going to be all, accepting of such a thing. So you have a little look, you do some research, and you find that it's just the butt of all of these goddamn jokes. And yeah, you don't want to have to deal with that. You don't want to open yourself up as a target for these people. So you keep it to yourself and you repress it and you won't join in with things. Hell, sometimes as a cover you might even poke jokes at it because it's too daunting to be ostracized for this thing, right?
I think it's fair to say that as things stands, the furries are sort of getting an easier time with the media. At least less of a punchline to them for the most part.
But beyond what society and the media thinks of us, what do we think of ourselves? What are our core values? What exactly is it that draws us into these things and keeps them to be such an important part of our life? Wow, I imagine that'll be the next segment, won't it?
Each little group has its own set of core values and themes, you know, the general things that you can use as the glue to stick this general interest together and make it something a little bit deeper. These are the real reasons why these communities and these fandoms have so much traction for us.
Now we could go on about some big differences, such as the difference between, you know, anthros and ponies, the differences between, you know, having all of these species and just one, the differences between simple things, such as having it around one whole big-ass concept or just around a show, but ultimately those things are just immaterial. Those things are just the flavour of the actual thing. When you boil it down and get to the actual essence of why these communities come together and what they actually are truly all about, then we're practically identical, aren't we?
Essentially, the very heart of these fandoms, these communities, and the reason why we feel so strongly about them is escapism. We build up these things to be welcoming and accepting and something that we can all share alike, an interest that generally we don't tend to find in conventional society. And that's why we use these as the bedrock for these fandoms and these communities. That's why we take them so seriously, is because we're getting something that we didn't think we could get from conventional society. We're finding what we actually want in the world with our own interests and things that we actually genuinely like rather than things we're expected to like. And we're finding that that's okay, and it's not just full of harsh judgments. Sounds a hell of a lot fucking better than just pretending you like shit just so the strangers will leave you alone.
At its basest levels, these communities form because people are searching for something that they don't feel they can find in conventional society. They have found these things that they enjoy that not everybody else seems to enjoy, and they want to come together with other people who does. Is that any different from anyone else in the goddamn world? Like, whether it's you're coming together because you like anthro animals, coming together because you like the My Little Pony show, coming together because you like football, or airsoft, or self-defense classes, or porn, what does it matter? Like, essentially, what actually draws people together isn't the biggest part of the issue, it's the why. Why is someone coming together? It's looking for that companionship, that sense of community, of belonging, and of acceptance. So when you boil it down to simple things like that, yeah, we're goddamn similar. In fact, most places seem to be.
Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. Look, we did another serious video comparing two fandoms, and honestly, they were fairly similar in a lot of ways. If anything, I would say the key themes, core values, and the groups and whatnot, everything's kind of... It's almost like we've taken the exact same path, just down different routes. You know, we ended up at the same destination, but... yeah. And look, we didn't take the piss, we were respectful. How's that? A fucking shock, I know. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy it, maybe you would like to bang. Not bang, obviously. No, that was just the sound for the graphics, so check that out. I really need to be a bit more careful with that. But yeah, that's there, and you could have a look. You never know. Get some merch or something like that, who knows. That would be amazing. But yes, thank you for watching. I'm going to pass you over to the dog so that he can beg for your money. I mean, fuck it, at this stage you might as well get on his knees and literally beg.
Okay, I'm not getting on my knees to beg for this. That's just not happening. No. And plus that opens the door to all kinds of weird things. Oh god. But yes, thank you for watching. Hope you very much did enjoy all of this. It was a fun little one to make, actually, because the communities are quite similar, and I know a lot of people who are sort of in both camps, and it made me wonder, like, is this really much of a distinction anymore? Like, I've had a look on Twitter, a lot of you seem to think that it's like a subgenre or just like a little offshoot, and I get it, I really do. They do seem very similar, and hopefully I've made that point. And yes, there we go. If you did like it, have a look at this Patreon graphic maybe, and you might be able to support us, which would be amazing. Get access to early videos and a Discord chat where I can talk to you, which, I mean, you probably get every week because I'm talking into this glass eye over here, but whatever. It would be still lovely for you to have a look at. And yes, I have had fun reading your comments of weird shit that I'm asking you to fucking say, so what should we do this week? What is the last thing you've seen that perfectly sums up your town and what a shithole it is? So, every town has a sort of assumption around it, right? Like, some places are shithole, some places are known for this or that. What was the last thing you personally saw that sums up your town in one event? For me, it was when I had the patrons down, cafes, and I got to show them Weymouth and both of its delights and all of its horrors, and we got to see the police crack down on a bunch of drug-dealing teenagers. just 3 minutes down my road. If that doesn't sum it up, I don't know what does. So yes, post those below so I can have a laugh at them, and I guess you shall see me next week. Thank you, goodbye!